My dear friends, my dear colleagues, I want to make a remark. The ones of us who are beekeepers and keep bees, we might have already an apiary established and we might know these details. But for the new beekeeper or for the one who's thinking to get into beekeeping, I just want to make a couple of remarks. It is very important before you set up 1 hive, 2 hive, 10 hives that you would consider few things. One, you don't want your beehive straight in the harsh sun of the summer, if possible. Bees will deal with hardship, but they will have to work harder either to cool the hive or to keep warm if we do the wrong thing. Now, this is where us as beekeepers have to be in the known and have to work with the bees or help them as much as we can. So before you have your hive, think of a spot, think of a corner in your property where you can do that. This spot in my backyard is ideal for the bees in the sense all throughout summer. Now this is the start of autumn, and all throughout the summer none of these hives get any sunshine at all. So I've built a shade for them, for all of them, and they're under shade enough the hot air. If they would sit in the sun and would have a metal lid or things like that, or a very dark color like one of mine, the very last there, which is green, attracts the sun so much, gets really hot, then the bees have to really work hard, bringing lots of water to cool down the hive, like we do with an evaporative system trying to cool our house. Now, it's different starting with autumn and throughout the winter. All of these hives have sunshine, most importantly in the morning. So the sun gets straight on them, facing in the very early in the morning, because with the cold weather outside, it's important to have your hive that sun would warm it up and bees will be able to have an early start and move on from there. Another thing you need to consider is wind. You can see here pretty much they're not in the wind, so when the wind blows really hard, blows behind the shed, so at no stage they're facing very harsh wind. And if you do observe how bees behave, especially when they come loaded either with water, either with pollen or nectar, that is a very hefty load on them. They don't need a very harsh wind, especially when they land on the landing board. You have seen airplanes trying to land in very harsh wind, and many of them don't make it. They try and set up again and go up in the air and try again and try again. It's the same with the bees. So try to make a corner for them to where they're not facing very harsh wind, especially when they try to land on the landing board. And I have observed them, like if I zoom this side, bees are coming from that direction with water, and all of them, they try to come very, very low to the point that there is no wind. If they go very high up, then there is harsh wind. They try to avoid that. So they're telling us what suits them and what they really need. And of course, this is not the last thing you have to consider, is the location in proximity to your neighbors. Bees can be cranky at times, even if you have a very nice and placid bees. At times they can be cranky, and I don't think there is a beekeeper who have not been stung by bees. If you walk past or something, they just, you know, go after you, and you can go 100 times more and they won't. So knowing that, you have to consider putting it in such a place that you would have a fence, you would have some trees, or like a barrier between you and possible your neighbors, and not to cause of a problem, especially if someone is allergic to bee sting. Well, that's about all for today. I hope you have a nice day. I have been extracting honey from a few hives, and it's probably 4 o'clock now. I'm gonna get in the honey house and do a bit of extraction and have the frames ready for them to give them as they go to bed. I'm gonna put back the frames, which are kind of sticky with honey, into the hives. If you attempt to put them earlier, like this time, they could set up a war. Unbelievable, because the smell of honey is so strong out of the frames you have extracted, and they would be thinking, oh, that's yummy, so they'll start warring and robbing each other. You don't want to do that. It's very, very hard to stop. So you want to do that before they go to bed. Then by the morning, they have worked through the night cleaning the frames, rearranging honey inside, so there'll be no strong smell left by the morning when they start again. Until next time, God bless you.